Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Yes, hello.
How's it going, GR Dad?
It's going good.
Excellent, excellent. So, back in August, so many months ago.
That's like 13 years ago?
I was lamenting that the little cabinet that we store our liquor in, which we bought when we bought the house, was no longer containing all of our liquor. It was absolutely packed full. You'd have to smush everything in, and sometimes the door would pop open.
It also had weird shelf heights, so we had to lay a lot of bottles down.
Yeah, I mean, there were only 2 shelves. It was little, and
too small.
we've got, we just have like a lot of glassware and stuff, and we have kind of run out of room for things. I was like, there's no reason we should have this tiny little cabinet, which was fine when we moved in here and we're broke and like we could afford it.
I know, we had like 3 bottles of liquor then.
Oh my God. I'm like, let's just get a proper cabinet. In our house in Maryland, we've got like a full wall bookcase that holds all of our liquor, and it is also full.
Glass doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, let's get one. So I went around, I found Crate & Barrel has this beautiful thing, and it's got glass doors, and then it's got a couple of drawers and some non-glass doors for putting ugly stuff behind, and it's like over 5 feet tall, and it's like 7 feet tall. It's like 5 feet wide. Great. It's great. Let's get it. So I ordered it in August and it was back ordered. And then like 2 weeks ago, they were supposed to deliver it. And then they were like, well, it's 2 parts. There's like a bottom part with cabinets and the top part with the glass doors. And like, we only have the bottom part. And I was like, deliver the bottom part. It's fine. And they're like, we're trying to not deliver parts of things anymore. Cause some people were getting like the arm for their couch, and then they just have to store the arm. And I was like, all right, I understand. So it was like the day of the delivery, and they canceled the delivery. And they're like, we've got to wait for the top part. And I was like, fine. I have no power here.
This
Fine.
was like in January or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like towards the end of January. It was also like 8 hours on the phone to get that delivery to happen, because like a person literally had to push a button in the system. Like the system was very confused for about a month. And then I just called every day till I got a smart person to push the button and override the error. Anyway, so scheduled for delivery, canceled the delivery of the bottom because they didn't have the top. So then last week they're like, hey, the top is ready. Let's schedule your delivery. And I was like, great, delivery scheduled. And I keep looking at the delivery, and it's got like 1 piece. And I was like, it's 2 pieces. It's a top and a bottom. But okay, no, I have no power over this. And so today was the day, and they showed up, and I was like, so you got 2 pieces? And they're like, we've got 1. And I was like, you have the top, I bet. And they do. They brought just the top. The bottom was not there. And I was like, it's funny, the bottom was supposed to be delivered 2 weeks ago, but they didn't want to deliver it in parts. So then I called Crate & Barrel, and I was like, you guys, you delivered just the top. And they're like, yeah, we see that you were supposed to get the bottom, but now the bottom's back ordered until March. So they gave our bottom to somebody else. Anyway, in preparation for the new cabinet coming, we emptied out the old cabinet. And so all of our liquor bottles right now are on the dining room table. And if you are a Patreon subscriber or a super follower, you saw a video where we like talk about our vast quantity of booze that's on the counter.
It's a bit scary.
There's a lot of it. It's an impressive collection. And so anyway, I was like, well, we've bought all that booze since we bought this house. And so there's not a lot of like legacy bottles that, like in Maryland, we've got a lot of weird stuff that has accumulated over kind of 10 years.
Some of it is older, found bottles.
Some stuff houses. I got from my parents.
Yes, I know. This is a great story.
When I was in my master's program, we did this like I think they call it a progressive dinner, where you'd go to like one person's house and have drinks, and then the next person's house and have appetizers, and the next person's house and have dinner. It was so stupid. It was just like a bunch of driving around places.
It's called a bar crawl if you do with alcohol.
If you do with alcohol and you go to bars, but this was like people's houses for different courses of dinner. It was stupid. And I got put in charge of drinks, and I didn't even drink at the time. I owned no alcohol, and I was like, what am I going to do? And my parents, who don't really drink, I mean, they'll like have a beer, but they don't make cocktails. My mom's like, here, we'll just give you this cardboard box with our liquor, and we've got, enough of the basics in there. So she gave me this cardboard box, and it's got like a bottle of vodka, dusty, that's been in their house for 30 years, yeah. Right? They haven't used it for anything.
Oh,
all this dusty liquor, which then sat in my house, and I didn't use. So now it's like liquor is 40-year-old bottles of liquor. It's fine.
But it's not like liquor that gets better in 40 years. This isn't like that.
It's not aging. No.
Right.
So there's some of that in there still. I maybe just used up all their brandy.
I think we've gone through some because it was not in plastic bottles, but it was almost in plastic bottles.
No. I mean, they had like Smirnoff vodka. It was just kind of old school stuff. There was like, if you make a 7 and 7.
Oh, the Canadian whiskey, Seagram's.
Yeah, Seagram's like 7 whiskey. 7 and 7 is whiskey and 7-Up. So they had that, like the Seagram's whiskey.
Seagram 7, yeah.
Yeah, no, they know better than to buy plastic bottles of liquor.
Well, I didn't know that when I was in college.
Well, they weren't, weren't in college,
Even
probably.
in law school, yeah.
So anyway, we don't have a lot of stuff that we don't like here, but there's some stuff that like I've bought to like make a particular drink, and then I was like, well, this shit's terrible and I will never drink it again. Apricot brandy is one of those things. We bought it to make something, and I was like, this is disgusting, and I don't know why anybody drinks this. So I was looking at these bottles. I was like, we should pull out the few bottles of stuff that we don't like because there's no reason to keep them. And so there's 5 full-size bottles, and then there were a couple just little 2-ounce sampler bottles of stuff where I was like, all right, we don't want any of this. And I was like, dude,
the travel size, the plain size, yeah.
Like the cocktail of the week is going to be called, now this is in quotes, quote, college. So the name of the cocktail of the week is quote, college.
It's awesome. That is a great name for this great concept.
There have been times like in Maryland where I've gone through the liquor cabinet and pulled out stuff we don't like. And that's more like we buy a bottle of like DC made vodka, and then you go, vodka can't be bad until you try this locally made vodka that's so bad. And so we, anytime a new distillery opened up in like DC or Maryland, we'd buy a bottle, and most of the stuff was not drinkable.
So just experimental. They're small batch experiments.
Not mentioning any names, but there's stuff where it's like, I'm never drinking this. It's disgusting. And I would just like get a cardboard box and I would just put it out at the curb.
But we supported local businesses.
Yes. And then we supported local students probably who couldn't buy their own liquor, who's just like, I'll take a risk with this opened bottle of liquor that's in a box on the curb.
Yeah.
It was always gone.
I'll squint while I drink it.
Oh my God. So anyway, we've got, and most of this is flavored stuff, flavored rum, flavored whiskey, a couple like liqueurs, and none of it's like objectively like terrible, like, oh, these people don't know how to make booze. It's just, I don't think tasty.
Kind of unnecessarily flavored.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, someone had suggested, and I was like, great idea. We're just going to mix it all together. So I made
blame someone else.
I made the drink tonight, the college, quote, college.
So good.
Half an ounce of everything. And it's not bad. Actually, half an ounce of everything. Oh, you've got it in front of you.
It's scary. It looks kind of like a Kahlua or a Bailey's drink. It's brown.
One of the little sample bottles that someone had sent us was called a bourbon cream, and it was, I mean, it actually isn't terrible. I just would never use it in anything. It's kind of like Bailey's, where Bailey's is Irish whiskey and cream. So this is bourbon and cream, and I had used half the little sample bottle in something, and I was just like, we're never going to use this again. I'll put it in there. So it gave the whole thing this kind of creamy look. But other than that, I thought it was going to be weird colors. There's some Midori,
There's
melon
some green
liqueur
stuff in there. Yeah,
It's not green.
I thought it was going to be green.
All the other colors mixed to make it brown. But
I think it's
not
good.
bad.
I may die in an hour, but right now it's okay. It tastes a little vanilla-y, and it's only a little bit curdled.
It's not bad. I was
a little bit lumpy.
Should I put some Coke in there? Should I do something? And I was like, let me just try it. And I was like, that's not the worst thing I've had.
But there's no mixer in it.
No, you're drinking it straight.
You've combined a lot of alcohols. This is why it's so good. College.
So anyway, that's the cocktail of the week. No, Remy, do not come. Don't climb up here. No,
He's a climby boy.
Okay. So administrative corner.
My favorite segment.
Thank you to the person on Instagram who commented on a video that I posted last week of Chief Brody gnawing on a plant that I had trimmed, and let me know that plant was oleander, which is extremely poisonous.
We thought it was an azalea for a long time, right?
So, a neighbor told us it was an azalea.
That's right.
It's got little flowers like an azalea, and I was like, that's an azalea. And then I looked up azaleas and I looked up oleanders, and it was really clearly an oleander. You can murder people with those.
This is the problem with having crazy neighbors.
So I ripped it out and have planted ferns in the place of the oleander. So
Removed from our property.
I was trying to find that person's message, and then I get so many DMs that it just got lost. So thank you to the person who let us know that it was oleander. Oops. Glad nobody died.
No, nobody seemed affected at all. You guys.
All right. We got a lot of dog updates this week. I guess we should start with Vood since he's the most dramatic. I will note that all of last weekend and into the beginning of this week, I would have dreams that had soundtracks to them, which is not normal. I don't normally hear music in my dreams. But these dreams would be taking place with the hold music from The Neurologist as the background. I'd be like walking around the house this week, like singing The Neurologist hold
Which
music.
is awful. Actually, it's terrible. It's this one sort of jazzy music that fades in and out. At one point, it stops. Like the loop stops for about 15 seconds. So you think someone's about to pick up, and then it just launches right back in. Oh my god! I'm sweating. I'm sweating now.
We didn't even spend that much time on hold. It was just such a traumatic week that clearly, like, the hold music seared itself into my brain.
When I was picking up Voods, I conferenced you in so you could listen to the discharge instructions. So we were both listening to the hold music for about 10 minutes, I think.
So anyway, when we last updated you all, it was Wednesday of last week. So very early Tuesday morning, we took Voods up to the neurologist. He had another seizure, and then Giardad had gone up to get groceries on Wednesday.
Only groceries.
Because Voods had not been discharged, and then we recorded the podcast. So Voods needed a lot more time, and he stayed at the neurologist until Saturday. He got put on an IV drip of midazolam, and I think Kepra's in there. And as he was coming off the IV drip, that's anticonvulsant medicine, then he had another seizure, and I think he maybe had one more. Don't you dare sip that drink into the microphone, Giardad.
Sorry.
Put the drink away.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Man, there's nothing worse than listening to somebody else slurp. Don't give me that look.
I think I can think of a lot of bad things.
Okay, fair. I mean,
Go ahead.
fair.
Though.
Good
Yes,
point.
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, Voods is fine now, and he's home, and he hasn't had any seizures since he got home on Saturday.
It's nice to have him back.
It is.
Even though he eats everything.
Dog.
He hasn't gotten better.
No. He's so things are pretty much the same, except he's on 3 doses a day of one of his medicines now instead of twice a day. So I've had to like put alarms on my phone to just remind me at like 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. to give him his medicine, because we've gotten so used to just like breakfast and dinner. To have that one med that's off schedule is a little weird, but whatever, that's fine. I'm just looking at my notes here. I wrote down no vacations because we were talking to one of the neurologists. I mean,
the one who's really nice. Yeah.
She's so great. And she's like, you guys must not be able to go on vacation. And I was like, we can't do anything. And it makes me sad.
Because this guy could explode at any time.
Yep.
Foods.
And then, I was obviously posting updates on all the socials, and then some extra updates for the super followers and the Patreons. And I don't know where this came from, but people had good commentary on Vood's MRI, and someone called it the Voodle Noodle Revutal. And then when they came back with nothing, it was the Voodle Noodle Revutal Bamboozle, which was pretty good.
The MRI showed nothing, and the spinal tap, although they shaved half his head, also showed nothing.
Yep, that's right. He got a big bald spot.
Which shows that it's not a psychological evaluation.
Indeed. We did have the MRI results last week, so we briefly talked about those.
Nothing.
Someone else said, Voods, we have to unscroodle your noodle. Unscroodle Voodle's noodle.
Voodle and noodle is a rhyme we've
That's a
not
pretty
thought
good
of.
one.
Yep, that's great.
So anyway, he's doing fine. No one really talks about his prognosis, but it's not great. And I had Hops in to the vet. She just had a little skin infection that we wanted to get checked out. And I was telling the vet, she'd gotten all the records from the neurologist. And I was like, so this is not a great progression. I'm like, I know how this goes. And she was like, yeah, I know how it goes too. And the other vet there was like, oh, that's not good. So Like most dogs who have cluster seizures like him die from the cluster seizures. And so, hopefully he's just having a bad stretch
Yeah.
and he'll get better.
Because we had that good stretch too. So it's like it's not automatically terrible, although the trend is bad.
The trend is bad. So
Yeah.
maybe this is just a dip and the trend will get good again. But if the trend continues on this path, it's not good.
The problem is he's already medicated to the hilt. Like this, he's just on high doses of all the available medicines.
He's on every drug. I know people mean well when they hear about his seizures, and there's nothing that you can think of that we haven't talked to our neurologist about. Like, there's people who are like, oh, my dog's on phenobarbital, and it's like he's on the full dose of phenobarbital and 3 other medicines, and we have a nasal injectable, and we have an emergency med, and we have talked to the neurologist about every like homeopathic and whatever, like
Acupuncture.
and acupuncture, and like there's literally nothing that you can suggest that we haven't talked about, because we have like 5 neurologists and like 5 other veterinarians and all the people up at VOSM, which is a neurologist and sports medicine people. We have like friggin' a better team of doctors than I have had cumulatively in my whole life.
For yourself.
For myself,
Yes.
working on Vood's seizures, we've asked about everything.
They should write case studies about this guy.
Oh my God. Unfortunately, it's like not that uncommon, right? There's like, I have known 3 Goldens who have been like relatively young, like Vood's, and then super medicated, and then, end up having to be put down because their seizures aren't controlled at all. Right. So, he's obviously not at that point yet, and hopefully he gets better, but it's very stressful.
Hang in there, Voods.
Let's see. In other news, so I posted a video last week of me sitting on the couch, and Guac came up and he was so cute. He like rested his little head on my lap, and he was making big eyes at me. And the video is like me petting his head, and he's got his head sitting on my lap. And I was
It
like,
was adorable.
this is so nice. He's so affectionate and giving me hugs. And then I kept petting him. I just took, the video was like 10 seconds, but he was doing that for a while. And finally I was like, all right, Guac, you want to come up on the couch with me? And as soon as I start sitting forward, he's like poking his head around. And then I remembered 24 hours earlier, he had been being a jerk with a tennis ball, and I had taken the tennis ball out of his mouth and stuck it in the couch cushions behind my back to be like, you can't have your ball anymore. And then he had gone and done other stuff. But then he had remembered the ball was back there tucked in the cushions behind my back. So his head on my lap was not affectionate. It was like, can I get to that ball that's behind you? And as soon as I got up, he like jumped up on the couch, got the ball out of the cushions, ran away. Did not want anything to do
Laid down
with
with
me.
his ball. Yeah. So he was looking through you, basically. This is like when he goes to the closet and like moons up at the closet, like, all my avocados are up there.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Guac.
Oh, and he ran with you.
He did. He ran 3 whole miles with me and did not try to murder me once. Both of those are impressive things, because normally he tries to murder me on our runs, and he can't go that far.
Or won't go that far, right?
Or won't. He absolutely can. And he's like, I'm 3 houses down and I pooped in somebody else's yard. I'm done. Like, let's go home.
He's been just so strange since when we got him initially, when we fostered and adopted him. He was running with you frequently.
Yep. No, it's as soon the Brillo pad is what did it. He must have some adhesion or something that makes it uncomfortable.
Oh, you think it's
on
physical?
occasion. I think so, because he
maybe.
really liked to run before that, and now he really does. I mean, he did fine, but it's really hit or miss. Same with walks. Like some days he's just like absolutely not walking, and
Yeah.
other days he's
I
fine.
thought it was mental. You think it's physical?
I think so.
Oh, sorry, Guac.
Other updates. So the dock project continues. All of the kind of posts that are driven into the ground have been installed. And basically the steps that we have left is that whenever a construction crew becomes available from our dock builder, they will come out and actually put the part of the dock that you can walk on in. Right now we call it a hybrid dock. It's part in person and part virtual.
It's part virtual. If we tried to walk on the dock, we would fall through into the water.
But if we got a VR headset, we could pretend to walk on the dock.
It's metaverse dock.
Oh my God.
But the seawall's done, pretty much.
The seawall is done, and
Except for the cementing.
Yes, but that's just cosmetic, basically. So the seawall is done, and then they are filling. A lot of our land has eroded, and so they're filling it up to the level of the seawall, and it's going to be part sand towards the water, and then part like gravel that we can walk on, like our current stupid gravel that hurts our feet, on the back part. And they finished the sand this week, so they still have to put the walk-on gravel down, but the sand is in. And so they did all the sand in one day. And we were out there with the dogs. I was like, Brody, come here. He'd like been out in the front yard. I was, Brody, come back over here. I was like, look at this sand. And he like walks over and he like takes 3 steps into the sand, and then he throws himself down in. It's just like rubbing his face.
He's got like a sandy
smushing
nose.
his nose
Yeah,
in it.
he looks great. He
Oh,
looks very happy.
He's like, this is the best. He started digging a little hole, just one leg hole
Yeah,
digging.
to just see what was there.
Yep.
So the sand's a big win. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Because it's cleaner than all the mud that they're tracking in and out of the front yard now.
Yep. So the project continues, like everything. Once they get the workers free to work on it, it'll get done. Who knows when that will be? Will we get the bottom half of our new cabinet first? Will that get done? Who knows?
We have some friends in town who have a boat right now, and it'd be nice if they could dock on our dock by the end of February. But that seems really optimistic
It seems
now.
unlikely.
Unlikely.
We also next week, just thinking of what things will get done before the dock. Our house is getting tinted next week.
Poison gases will be extruded throughout our house to kill the termites.
In the rest of the world, you guys get termites that generally live in the ground, and they eat your house up and your house falls apart, and it's really bad.
It collapses.
Here in the Keys, we have drywood termites, which everybody gets, and you have to kill them every 10 years, and they're not nearly as destructive. They take a way longer time to start doing damage.
Wait, you have to kill them every 10 years? Usually.
Yes. So once you kill them, it takes kind of 10 years for a colony to reestablish itself, and for you to start seeing any signs of it being there. But they will undoubtedly show up it's not like you kill them and then like, oh, maybe I won't get termites. No, they come always. You just got to get rid of them every 10 years. Like kill them off, and then they'll try to reestablish themselves, and then kill them off again. So when we bought the house, had the house tented and treated for termites. That was 2018.
And we weren't here.
We weren't here. It was Thanksgiving of 2018. They came. They put a big orange, red and yellow tent over the house.
It looks totally like a circus tent.
does.
It's got these big, broad stripes. It
Yep.
looks like a circus.
You will see pictures next week. And they pump poison into your house for like 24 hours, and then they come take it off. You have to remove all your food and cosmetics and anything except like sealed cans has to come out of the house. All the dog food, all the shampoo, the toothpaste, the toothbrushes.
Which was even a problem in 2018 because we had like a refrigerator with Cokes and stuff. Or not Cokes, but like, the liquor and stuff.
Yeah.
No, you have to take it
all
out.
that liquor on the table has to get taken out because it's all open.
It could leach poison, and poison could leach into there.
It's going to be such a project. And of course, we can't be in the house.
Oh yeah, that's also really clear.
So I was like, where can one go with 6 dogs for 2 nights, basically? And the answer is, if we want to spend $3,000 or $4,000, we absolutely can rent a house in Key West from Airbnb. I do not want to spend $3,000 or $4,000.
That's why I love you. That's why I married you. This is the common sense.
And so we are staying in the RV.
That's so bad.
In the yard, but because if the dogs run to the tent, like they can die from the poison. So we have to stay in the RV in the yard, but then the dogs basically have to be in the RV all the time. And if we let them out, it has to be like fully on leash or like leave the yard. They can't just walk around in the yard.
It's going to be only a little better than if we drove up and back, like up to Maryland and back in 3 days. That would be burdensome and terrible. This will be about the same.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun time. We at least don't have to sit in the RV the whole time.
Maybe we can play board games.
Oh my God. I'm going to be working. You know what I'm going to I'm going to run all day, every day.
Run away.
The thing is, the dogs actually aren't even going to care that much. They just lay around here, and they're going to lay around in the RV instead.
They'll be psyched to get walkies.
and they'll get a lot of ice. It'll be fine. It's going to be a pain in the ass though. So that's next week. I think definitely the termites will get killed. Yeah. So yes, I distracted myself. We got the house treated for termites in 2018. So we're supposed to be good for another 10 years. And when your dad had Voods and Remy up in Maryland, I woke up and there were all these dead bugs on the floor. And I was like, that's gross. Like, there's a swarm of dead bugs that clearly came out last night. What the heck? And I'm looking at them. I'm like, they look a lot like I think termites look. And I like took some pictures. I go online, precisely a drywood termite. So I called the termite guys, Hammerhead Termites down here in the Keys.
Yep.
I was like, you guys, I got termites in my house. Like, you treated my house in 2018, but there's termites in here. They swarmed last night and there's a bunch of them, like a ton of them dead on the ground. And he's like, you shouldn't have termites. Send me a picture. I was like, here you go. He's like, yep, that's them. I don't know how the hell that happened. And then like a week later, they did it again. I was awake. It was nighttime. And I start seeing all these little bugs flying around.
This is a nightmare for everyone, but you're sensitive to this. You hate bugs even more.
Bug phobia. Yeah, so I had to like spray a bunch of Raid. And I have since like we bombed the house. Maybe I bombed it when you were gone.
We bombed it at some point. I remember
we definitely did.
We went out and like the dogs weren't in for half the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so that we haven't had any more swarms since then, but obviously they're like in the woods somewhere. So we're having it tented. It's going to be a pain in the butt.
I have all this stuff to take out.
So our friends are coming over. Our friends who are staying down here that have borrowed the RV are bringing it back, I think, Monday, maybe Tuesday during the day. And like all the people that are with them, like their kids, everybody is going to come and help us pack up the liquor and all the food into boxes and stuff.
I mean, we can put everything in the RV, right? We have storage space in the RV.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
There'll be like a human chain. It'll be like passing the bottle from person to person to person into the shelf in the RV.
Yeah, I mean, we can also just put it in the yard.
Liquor?
Yeah, we can just put it in a box and like set it next to the RV. It doesn't need to be inside.
It gives me the giblies thinking about liquor just lying out there.
Okay,
I don't know why.
We'll put it in the RV then. We can put it in the car. Anyway, we don't need to talk about this on the podcast. This is extremely boring.
Anyway, it's poisoned and it's going to be poisonous and it's going to be a very hostile environment for 2 nights.
Yeah. All right. Ingo, you wanted me to write down carrot board. The table with the holes for the carrots.
Somebody said we had talked about this, you and I, offline, because we do have conversations offline.
Yep.
A couple of years ago. And apparently the product is making the rounds again of social media, but it's just like, it's supposed to be a dog toy, but it's a board with holes in it. And I don't know if you stick, the one we saw 2 years ago was carrots up through the holes like a whack-a-mole. And the dog is supposed to like try to catch the carrots, eat the carrots,
and then you
bite
pull
the
them back
carrots,
down.
and you pull them back down. And I think
let me just say, when I showed this to you, which was a cardboard box, and there was somebody under it sticking the carrot up, I was like, "What do you think about trying this with the dogs?" And I believe your response was, "I can't believe anybody would do that to your dog. That is cruel and terrible. That is basically abuse of the dogs because they're not going to trust you after that. I can't believe anybody would do that." And I was like, okay, we will not do the carrots in the box with the dogs. But you were very angry about it. Very angry about it.
Yeah, I think I may have overreacted. But, I mean, it looks all fun in the video, right? I think the one that is circulating now is with hot dogs.
Yep, hot dogs.
Not carrots. So people are sticking hot dogs through these holes in the like this sheet, and the dogs are supposed to catch them, but then you pull it away from them at the last minute. I think my concern, the best possible articulation of my concern, beyond "don't do that to my baby," is that I was worried that it would teach our dogs, whoever we had at the time, to really snatch at food because it's constantly being pulled away from their mouth. Right? I mean, this is the problem with a lot of our fosters, is that they don't, they just snap at food because they want to get it. True. Right? So I'm worried that this would teach them that if they don't ravenously bite at food, it disappears, which I think is a bad thing to teach them. I don't know that would teach them that, maybe they would understand this is a toy and it's not how it works. But I was, beyond all my concern for their well-being and how it's really tricking them, and isn't it just mocking, their pain and all this stuff. Like, I have a lot of issues with this.
You do? Yep, issues.
But I would be worried that it teaches them I've got to be fast and hard, bite fast and hard at food before it gets taken away. That would be my worry.
I think that's fair. Well, we're not going to do it.
We're not going to do it, but I just want to explain why, because, it's all fun and games in the video, but then they don't show that dog later being like, I better, chomp stuff fast or else it gets pulled away from me by an unseen force.
Maybe because it doesn't happen.
Maybe it doesn't happen. That's right. I haven't actually discussed this with anyone who knows dog training. Yes. Or psychology.
Or that has used one.
Or that has used one whom I would trust to tell me the truth.
Indeed.
Because I've lost a finger to a dog, and I can recognize it in others. So if the people who invented this all of a sudden have like nubby little fingers because their dog's chomped, this might all be coming together. I can sort of see the pattern here now. I think I know why I'm concerned.
Me too. I suddenly understand you better.
I got my finger chomped.
To be fair, you did stick it in her mouth while she was eating.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
It hurt.
All right, so that thus concludes the topics on my list for this week.
Do we have any other dog updates?
No.
Everyone else is good. I will say before I agree we're concluding this.
Uh-huh.
It has been weird over the last few days not to have constant vet appointments that I have to take various dogs to. I mean, Booth's thing was bad, but once that was done, this week we had like one vet appointment only.
You're like out to jinx this.
No, yeah, never mind. Ignore what I just said. Yeah, never mind. They're all good. Yay.
This is great. Okay. Don't you slurp that into the microphone.
Okay.
He's holding the microphone. Oh no!
Did you hear it?
Like loudly. Put no more drinking. I mean, it's empty.
I apologize to everyone.
I want you to know
to
that
you.
I am here defending your ears from Slurpee sounds.
She tries her hardest, and I'm incorrigible.
Do you want to do the German word or Taste of the Keys?
Taste of the Keys.
Taste of the Keys this week. An Isla Morada woman is accused of pushing her sister out of a moving truck during a fight. It's high quality.
This is just
reporting.
Goofy stuff, which is good. No, low
Nobody
stakes.
died.
Low
Yeah.
stakes. Yeah.
Monroe County Sheriff's deputies were sent to mile marker 90 after a driver witnessed a woman fall out of a truck. The 56-year-old victim told deputies she was arguing with her 59-year-old sister, Rita, and asked her to stop so she could get out. She said her sister slowed the vehicle, punched her in the face, and pushed her out of the still-moving truck.
59 and 56. They've been fighting for 56 years. They've been fighting as older sister and younger sister.
And they're like, no, stop the car, let me out. And she's like, I'll get you out. Punched her in the face, pushed her out.
But it was a moving truck still, but not too fast, but moving.
I mean, you think about how you're going to do that. Like, you've got to reach across and open the door.
And just
That's
push,
hard.
And then just push the whole thing, like the sister, the door, everything.
I feel like I'd need a foot. If I were going to push somebody, I'd need to like get a foot.
I think then you got to take it off the gas, so you do slow down.
I guess that's true.
But imagine following that truck and some 56-year-old woman falls out the passenger
the witnesses said that happened. Witnesses corroborated the woman's story.
It's so... it's such movie violence, but this happens.
Rita, the pusher, was found at her home and arrested. She was charged with misdemeanor battery.
Stupid sister bickering is what it is. Man, oh man.
There you go. That's Taste of the Keys.
Don't push anyone out of the car unless they ask you to.
Oh my God. All right, what's the German word of the week, Ingo?
We've been watching a lot of Winter Olympics because
Yep.
It's somewhat hopeful.
Yep.
The German word for sled is Schlitten, which is somewhat onomatopoeia, I think.
Like
it sounds,
sliding?
Yeah, it sounds like sliding down the hill. But it's also a sled path, what's the thing?
Run?
Sled run is called regionally a Rodelbahn. Rodeln is also another word for sledding.
Would you use it for like bobsledding or just like kid sledding?
Both, although yes, Rodeln is the word for the Olympic bobsledding.
Oh.
Monosled,
Monobob.
monobob, and others. Yes.
Do you have toboggans in Germany? Tobogganing?
Well, that's what Schlittens are. The ones with the they're made of wood and they have
And they got like a curve in the front?
yes, they
Yeah.
have, but they have the steel edges kind of along the wood.
I gotta remember, we had a toboggan
It's
growing
not
up.
the flat. It's
Toboggans are flat
not. Oh no, we
on
do
the
not.
bottom.
We typically don't have toboggans. We have sleds that are
with the metal runners.
that you sit on. Yeah, with the metal runners. That's
Yeah.
right. The toboggans are like what dining hall trays.
No. Here's a picture of a toboggan. They're very long. You can
Yeah.
fit many people on them, and it's got like a big curve.
I
over in
don't
the
think
front.
that's a typical German thing. It may be a Nordic thing. I don't know. It looks more.
Yeah, there are toboggan
Scandinavian.
chutes in some places. They used to have one of these in Crystal Lake, but I think someone in my family broke their arm doing it, and they were certainly not the only one. And then the toboggan chute got taken out, I think.
Huh. No, I mean we do sleds, and and if it's a chute, and we have summer ones that are cement. It usually looks like a bobsled
Interesting.
with the wheels, obviously in the summer.
All right, Schlitten.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is the end of the podcast for the week. I was just thinking next week we're going to have to bring the pod box into the RV because podcast day is the day that the house will be tented.
My God, we'll be in ABC suits and like breathing through tubes.
None of that's true. But maybe we'll do a long podcast because
We'll have nothing else to do.
yeah.
We'll be playing board games, Jen.
be fine.
Board games.
I mean, I'll be bored for sure.
Monopoly. Do you want to play Monopoly?
No. No, I don't.
I don't either.
Okay.
We don't have that much time. We don't have 3 days.
No. I'm just going to walk all the dogs. They'll be like, oh my God, another walk. I'm like, we're going, you guys.
Hey, can you make me another college?
No, I think that's one of those drinks where it's got to be limit one because there's like 3.5 ounces of alcohol in that college.
You put like ice in it and it diluted it, I think, for me.
It's still 3.5 ounces of liquor, even if there was melted ice in
Well,
it.
maybe it's still developing its full potential. Okay, you got lucky with the timing.
Yep. All right, everyone. Stay safe, keep your mask on, and until next week, don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Don't bite anyone unless they ask you to, and even then, just nibble.
Bye.
Bye.